Michael Bloomberg spoke out against liberals in a recent commencement address that he did. So let's listen to this, and then I want to go ahead and answer the question that, people have been saying this for a long time, that, there's a liberal bias on college campuses. So we'll go ahead and answer that. Is there a liberal bias on college campuses?
Billionaire Michael Bloomberg lashed out at liberal colleges and faculties, accusing them of, quote, censorship and a modern-day form of McCarthyism.
Today, on many college campuses, it is liberals trying to repress conservative ideas, even as conservative faculty members are at risk of becoming an endangered species.
Bloomberg accused Ivy Leagues like Harvard of becoming politically homogenous. He pointed to figures he says show 96% of Harvard faculty and employees donated to Barack Obama's re-election campaign.
96%. There was more disagreement among the old Soviet Politburo than there was among Ivy League donors.
Let me explain why this is a ridiculous conversation. The definition of the word bias. So their argument is, college is liberal bias, liberal bias. The definition of the word bias is, quote, prejudice in favor of or against one thing, person, or group compared with another, usually in a way considered to be unfair. So that last word is a key here. Unfair. Now that has a negative connotation, so it has to be some sort of an unfair, nefarious plot against conservatives. And that's certainly not true. This is a better way of putting it. There's no liberal bias among academics, but it certainly is true that a majority of academics are liberal. There's a difference there. So by the same token, you can say that an overwhelming majority of doctors are liberal. An overwhelming majority of scientists are liberal. And by the way, those groups are also much more likely to be atheists and no. Now, does that mean that doctors and scientists have an anti-conservative and anti-religious bias? No. It just means that smart people are more likely to be liberal and more likely to be non-religious. Now, people might say, you're being too harsh when you say something like that. Look, that doesn't mean that liberals and non-religious people have a monopoly on all things good in this world. So, for example, there's been a few studies that come to the conclusion that conservatives, by and large, are more happy, and religious people, by and large, are more happy. Now, I would argue that that means that ignorance is bliss. That old saying is likely true. But you guys have a monopoly, according to the studies, on happiness, and it just appears that the people who are in the very intellectual fields, well, we kind of have the monopoly on that, on doctors and scientists and professors. So I guess the main point here is that conservative ideas today are not repressed. There's no bias against them. You're not repressed. You're just wrong. I know that hurts, man, but look, to say that creationism isn't true, that's not a bias against conservatives. It's just right. To say that climate change is real, it's just right. That's not anti-conservative. It's just right. Or that tax cuts don't always lead to growth. That's just correct. It doesn't mean there's an anti-conservative bias. You're not repressing conservatives. It just means you're wrong.